Well, guess who's back, everybody? You know me as Arya Ben Nasik. You may know me as other things, right? But, just call me Arya, all right? We are back again with Biblical Burst, or our Biblical Burst segment. And what are we going to be bursting today? We're going to be bursting Romans chapter 3, verses 19 through 22. Let me first of all state that biblical burst. But the question is, well, Arya, what is a biblical burst? Biblical or Bible, as you have bibliography, little books, okay? Bursting, busting. Don't tell my mom I said that. It's just simply going in and just, dealing with scriptures in context to get clarity, and then we move on in very, how would you say, quick segments. 9 minutes here, 8 minutes here, 10 minutes there. Gotta go. Here we are. Romans chapter 3, verse 19. Now we know that what things soever the law saith to them who are under the law, that every mouth may be stopped, and all the world may become guilty before Elohim. Therefore, by the deeds of the law, by the works of the law, there shall no flesh be justified in his sight. For by the law is the knowledge of sin. Oh, man, my goodness, this is profound. Again, we don't have to observe the law. But now the righteousness of Elohim without the law is manifested, being witnessed by the law and the prophets. Even the righteousness of Elohim, which is by faith of Yeshua the Anointed, unto all and upon all them that believe. For there is no difference. Well, Arya, this right here shows you that we are not under the law. No, again, viewers, you got to understand what Paul is dealing with here in the assembly at Rome. Notice what Paul says in verse 23. For all have sinned and come short of the glory of Elohim. What did the Most High give to cover and to propitiate sin in the Old Testament? Animals. 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 Here we go. For all have sinned and come short of the glory of Elohim, being justified freely by his grace, being made righteous now freely by his grace through the redemption that is in the anointed Yeshua. In other words, the anointed Yeshua, or the Messiah, has become the replacement process and protocol for propitiation to cover one's sins. Here we see 25, whom Elohim has set forth to be a propitiation through faith in his blood, to declare his righteousness for the remission of sins that are passed through the forbearance of Elohim. Now, if this is not the case, if this verse is not talking about Yeshua propitiating man's iniquity by replacing the old animal sacrificial ordinances, then explain this to me. We'll go over to Romans chapter 2 and we'll look at verse 10. But glory, honor, and peace to every man that worketh good, to the Jew first and also to the Gentile, for there is no respect of persons with Elohim. For as many as have sinned without law shall also perish without law, and as many as have sinned in the law shall be judged by the law. For not the hearers of the law are just before Elohim, but those who do the law shall be justified. Well, now, Mr. Sir, Mr. Madam, what is suggested in Romans chapter 3, 19 through 22 is that we no longer have to do the law. And the preceding verses here, Paul is saying that those who do not do the law shall be damned without law, right? But those who sin in the law shall be made or shall be acquitted. Look at this. I'll just read it again. For as many as have sinned without law shall also perish without law, and as many as have sinned in the law shall be judged by the law. Watch this. For not the hearers of the law are just before Elohim, but those that do the law shall be justified. In other words, I know pig feet is found in Leviticus chapter 11, and I'm not supposed to eat it. I know that. But do you consume it? It's not those who know the law, it's those who practice the law. I know that eating shrimp, lobster, and crab, and, duck and pig feet and so forth and so on is unclean. I know that, and I show my knowledge of it and my acceptance of it by restraining myself from consuming it. because I acknowledge the law. Let's continue to read. And check this out. Even had a Hebrew recently to try to argue eating some duck. I ain't going to call Goliath's name. Okay. Verse 14. For when the Gentiles, which have not the law, do by nature the things contained in the law. Look what it says. The Gentiles have to keep the law as well. Notice what Paul says. For when the Gentiles, which have not the law was not given to them at Mount Sinai, right? But notice what it says. If they do by nature the things contained in the law, these having not the law are a law unto themselves, which show the work of the law written in their minds, their conscience also bearing witness, and the thoughts the meanwhile accusing or else excusing one another. Now, notice this. Look at verse 17. Behold, you are called a Hebrew, and rest in the law, and make your boast of Elohim. That's what I do. And knoweth his will. Yes, I do know it. And approve the things that are more excellent. Absolutely. How? By being instructed out of the law. Yes, I am. And I love it. Watch this. And are confident that you are a guide of the blind, a light of them which are in darkness. That's the reason why I'm a teacher. An instructor of the foolish, and I teach a lot of the foolish. A teacher of babes, right? Grown men who are babies, which have the form of knowledge. They think they know everything. Have they been in the culture for about a year or two? The form of knowledge and of the truth and the law. Here we go. Let's just run this down. Oh, look at this circumcision. And we did a burst on circumcision before, so we got this very same issue of circumcision arising again. 25. For circumcision verily profiteth if you keep the law, but if you be a breaker of the law, your circumcision is made uncircumcision. In other words, right, for a person to say, well, you know what, I'm circumcised to keep the Abrahamic covenant, to keep the Sinaitic covenant. Here Paul is saying that's not going to entitle you to eternal life. Your circumcision is made uncircumcision if you do not keep the laws of Elohim. Watch this. Therefore, if the uncircumcision, the Gentiles we just talked about in verse 14, keep the righteous requirements of Elohim's law, shall not his uncircumcision be counted as circumcision? Shall he not be looked upon as one that's adopted in the household of the Most High? Excellent. And shall not uncircumcision, which is by nature, those who are uncircumcised by nature, if they fulfill the law, judge you, right, who by the letter and circumcision, right, and does transgress the law. Ariel, what in the world does that mean? It simply means, right, those who are uncircumcised, but yet they keep the law, judge you who are circumcised, but break the law. In other words, which one is the Most High finding righteous and acceptable before him? 28. For he is not a Jew, which is one outwardly, neither is that circumcision, which is outward in the flesh. But he is a Hebrew, which is one inwardly. And circumcision is that of the mind and the spirit, and not in the letter, whose praise is not of men, but of Elohim. Well, I think that concludes our burst for today. We have another burst. Stay tuned. Stand by. Hey, how much time do we have? Any idea?
30 seconds.
Oh, we got 30 seconds. That's my cue to go. Arya ben Nasik, right? We just finished doing biblical a bursting Romans chapter 3, verses 19 through 22, placing it in context. Enjoy the rest of your day.